problem in this country.
You have actually mentioned some key component areas where interest should be centered on the agriculture. As a man who is well rooted and knowledgeable enough to take this nation to the next level in terms of agriculture, because it's a sector that we cannot neglect in any way. Now, we have a new government in Nigeria under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed TINUBU, GCFR. When you look at his agenda, renewed hope, agriculture is top priority today in his agenda. Where do you think, with this your depth knowledge, where do you want to come in that can actually be of a greater advantage, not only to this present administration, to every part of this country, to every state of this country, to every local government of this country? Let's get that from you.
Thank you very much for this good question you have just asked, because if it is well answered, might change our lives in this country. Like I said earlier, it has gotten to a point now that we don't have a choice. We all have to go back to agriculture. But how? I will go back memory lane. There was a time in this country, all of a sudden, the price of agri produce went up astronomically. But something was done then, I could remember. But before I tell you what was done then, now I am so excited that a president who is naturally intelligent, whose best skill is to notice talents, notice good ideas, and harness them, is presently the president of Nigeria, in the person of President Bola Ahmed TINUBU. The program that was designed to tackle food security then, it happened in this country. Most young people will not know what I am about to say. It was called Operation Feed the Nation. The program was designed in a way to make sure that minimally everybody grows something. I now cast my mind back to that period. Last year, I picked up a pad, researched that Operation Feed the Nation, and in a way, on my own, redesigned it. Look at what is happening now. Look at how much onions is being sold now. Look at how much alubasa, tomato, pepper, rice. Every agri produce now is too expensive, and it is becoming impossible. It is almost becoming impossible for Nigerians to eat well, despite the huge amount of uncultivated arable land in this country. But I will use this opportunity to just, on a high level, tell you how Nigerians can be forced back to farm. It is very, very easy as far as I'm concerned. What happened then is Every higher institution in Nigeria, every secondary school in Nigeria, you must have a farm, no matter how small. That is what happened then, and everybody went into farming, half an hectare, a plot, planting cassava, planting pepper, planting tomato, planting okra. Within a year and a half, they became too cheap. For me, that is what I will encourage. If I'm called upon to come and draft a policy, how do we alleviate the present suffering in Nigeria? The first thing we should target is food. If people do not eat well, there will be more cases of sickness in the hospital. So the first thing is, how do Nigerians feed well? An improved version of Operation Feed the Nation that was executed years ago needs to be brought back. If I have my way, I won't pay any Nigerian any subsidy in form of cash.
You're talking of palliative.
Palliative. I won't do it. I will tell you what I will do. Because you don't just criticize a policy without coming up with an alternative policy. This is what I will do. My fellow Nigerians, it is time for everybody to go back to farm. If you go back to farm, whatever you intend to grow, at least half an hectare of effort. Let me put it this way. You announce if you can grow an hectare of rice or cassava or pepper, right? If you can do that, at the end of the year, you get a sort of incentive bonus of 100,000 naira. And it is easy to monitor. All you need to do is from the Ministry of Agriculture from East State to have farm inspectors, a task force that will monitor those farms. Anybody who wants to grow anything, you go to the Ministry of Agriculture, you register yourself, you will show us at the end of the year what you have grown, and you collect 100,000 naira. When you do that for 2 years, we will be exporting food outside the country. It is more detailed than what I have just told you. But when you do that, there is also a problem. When you ask people to do that, they have to transport this agri-produce to markets, to the city. How do they transport them? If the means of transporting them is expensive, the agri-produce will still be expensive. So the next thing that needs to be taken care of when you talk of agriculture, you've already encouraged people to go into agri. Fine enough. While they are doing that, you need to face and do something about our roads in this country. Because if we ask them to farm and it becomes difficult to transport those food produce to where it is going to be sold, those food produce in most cases will perish in the farm. So when you put on that policy, while that policy kicks off, the next thing should be to improve our roads. Those two things go hand in hand. When you do that, less people will fall sick. There will be less accidents on the roads. They will be less busy in the hospital. The way our roads are now is so bad. It causes a lot of accident. It causes a lot of injury. It causes a lot of death. And most especially, it actually adds to the cost of production of food produce and the price of food produce. So the moment you kick-start that policy, you need to start doing your roads. Those two things has to be going on simultaneously. They have to be going on in sync with each other. Right? Then, when you do that, people can get cheap food to buy. That is what I will describe in my own case as palliative. This issue of giving people rice, to me, I don't think is right. Whatever rice that was distributed, for example, last month, is finished. But what I am talking about now is something that will last forever. Then people think how do we expect our roads to be reconstructed? And I laugh about it. But I want to come back to our president, President Bola Ahmed TINUBU. He made a worthy, a skillful, a Nigerian, I'm sorry, for the first time, our works minister is very, very competent. He knows what he is doing. I have been monitoring his activities. I've been monitoring him since he started being the governor of Ebonyi State. So you have a very good and knowledgeable person who happens to be the works minister in Nigeria as we speak. Okay, how do we finance and fix all the roads in Nigeria? The federal government does not need to spend money.
How?
Yeah, I will tell you. They don't need to spend money. They don't need to spend their own money. I visit Texas in America frequently. And I've been doing that, especially Texas, since 1999. And what I saw there, if we can implement it here, and it is easy to implement. 90% of our roads in Nigeria will be fixed, will be maintained without any hassle. And I will tell you how. Privatize all those roads. Bring up a policy. If, for example, Julius Berger, Ife to Ondo, or Shagam to Ore, give it to a construction company. Toll all those roads. Toll all those roads. Whatever construction company you give that portion of road, we sign a contract whereby there mustn't be a single pothole on those roads. They will use their money to build those roads. They will get paid back for the money that comes from those toll gates and pay tax for whatever money they collect from there to the federal government. Forget about putting the money to repair a road in the budget. A lot of road construction companies will storm Nigeria because of this. There are small roads. Give it to our local contractors. Let them toll it. And you can even monitor using IT every single kobo that is collected in those toll gates. It is easy. There is another person I want to mention. We are getting lucky. People should not be patient. The present Minister of Environment, Interior, is working. He's an IT person. Look at what he has done to the backlog of passports. He knows IT very well. I've researched him and I'm happy with what he is doing. So when I tell you that every single kobo that is collected in that toll gate, the federal government will have an account of it, you might be wondering how. That some people will be printing tickets. No, we will not print any ticket. When you get to those toll gates, all you need to do is bring out your debit card, touch it, and go. the money goes straight into the company's account. That eliminates fraud. It is easy to do. That is how you can repair Nigerian roads. I want to say it bluntly. If the federal government thinks you can get money somewhere to repair our roads, with the present state of those roads, you will not repair Nigerian roads in 1,000 years. This is something I have researched. I have documented it. It is now very detailed. And I want to repeat it. The federal government of Nigeria does not need to use their money to repair our roads. The federal government of Nigeria is supposed to use our roads to be generating money. And all you do is, this money you will collect is a form of informal tax. Ask every car to drop 100 naira. You, in a day in this country, in a month in this country, you'll be surprised that you will rake in half of the money that is projected for 2024 budget.
27 trillion.
You will get 14 trillion. I have computed it. There is another way the federal government can make money. Nigerians, we are very naughty people. We are not that disciplined, but we are nice people. And if we can stamp out impunity from our society, Nigerians will follow the law. And I will give you an example. I like the fact that Nigerians, at present, that we are very indisciplined. So people will go into one way. If I go into a one way and I am caught, I will just give the guy 200 naira and go. It excites me. Our indiscipline should be the highest source of IJAYA in Nigeria. And I will explain to you. There was a time in London, most streets in London, you can park there freely. But when the finance bucket of the country was getting strained, rather, what did they do? They started lining those streets, the side of the road. When you park there, they will tell you, if you stay there for 2 hours, you pay £1. If you stay there for 4 hours, you pay £6. All of a sudden, every council in UK, they realize that that money is even enough to run the council. Our discipline. If you want Nigerians to be disciplined in 10 years, and the federal government will use our indiscipline to make money, do you understand? If you park there, you will pay 20,000 naira. Nigerians will still park there. But me, I will collect that 20,000 naira from them. Do you understand? Our discipline. You will use it to make money. It should be IGR for Nigeria. It should be. I don't want to talk much on that, but I have a design for it. But I know that that design will not last more than 10 years. Because in 10 years, 99% of Nigerians will be law-abiding. They will not want to pay those fines.
All right, let's look at the area of technology. We know this is 21st century, and of course, most of the archaic policies that Nigeria has been used to cannot take us further, even beyond 2026. Now, having you around, where do you think technology can be introduced? Which of the ministries? Because I practically see that if technology is introduced to most of our ministries in Nigeria, a whole lot of things will come to limelight, and we'll be able to compete with, if not 70% with the Western world, at least 50%.
Yeah, thank you for that question again. Very intelligent question. Being somebody who happens to be a sort of guru in the IT field. When it comes to technology, Nigerians are naturally brilliant. You know, I told you I've worked in so many countries as an automated software engineer, especially doing performance testing for banks and stuff. There is nowhere I went to contract that will not see Nigerians. Apart from the Indians, wherever you go in Europe or in America, in the IT sector, what you will find are Nigerians. And not just Nigerians. We are just naturally too brilliant. So when you talk of technology, all this technology you see here, when you go to Microsoft Office or Oracle or Dell, right? 30% of their top engineers are Nigerians. So the issue of using technology, right, to improve our life, to stop corruption, to aid production, the know-how is with Nigerians. It is not an issue of go to Rolls-Royce in Bristol. A lot of engineers there that build Rolls-Royce engines are Nigerians. But they cannot build it here because there is no enabling environment. There is no enabling environment. And that is what is included in the